Michelle Elizabeth Brown is a public speaker, author, and activist who was born and raised in Detroit. She is dedicated to uplifting those often left on the fringe of society, women, people of color, and the LGBTQ community. The force within Michelle is her voice. She hosts a national weekly internet radio show, Collections by Michelle Brown, and is a columnist for Between the Lines newspaper. She consistently models building up all individuals in a community to strengthen the entire community. Welcome, Michelle Elizabeth Brown.
I'm cold. I need a minute. Are you cold? Yes. Okay. Let's see if this works. I am in the house. Hello, Ann Arbor. Hello, Ann Arbor. We're back. We are back. Here we are, 1 year later, still standing in solidarity for the America we believe in. An America hijacked a year ago when a toxic orange cloud settled over our nation's capital. Most days it feels like common decency is under siege as Republicans use their almost overwhelming political power to paralyze our dreams for our communities. It no longer even remotely feels like a government by, for, and of the people, but a renegade government operating under its own agenda. From day one, it's been about turning back the hands of time for women, the LGBTQ community, workers, immigrants, education, the environment, you name it. Making America great not for the majority, but for the same minority that continues to hold all the wealth. Almost every morning we wake up to another blast of presidential tirades from an overnight Twitter storm that's regurgitated all day by 45's band of clueless henchmen and women. He's a stable genius, all right, but apparently that stable never got cleaned and it's full of muck. The travel ban, the transgender ban on the military, his nuclear pissing contest with North Korea, putting the nation's education system in the hands of the most unqualified Secretary of Education in history, continuing attacks on health care even for our children, appointing a climate change doubter to head the EPA. Like the song goes, we're living in bad conditions. 2017 was hard, but I continue to look for the best of times, the best in people, the best in possible outcomes, and I've seen it in the faces of women, students, and everyday people. Last year, across the country, we marched, our children in tow, and a shout out to Bella, okay? Not just in protest of the election, but for the protection of all we hold dear. We still believe the greatness in this country lies in its diversity, inclusion, and equality for everyone. All of the huddled masses, whether they were born here, brought here as children, or are immigrating here, We are all yearning to breathe free. We continue to resist, and it's women leading the charge. Thousands of women came to the Women's Convention planning strategies and actions to reclaim our time. Women in office are speaking out and holding their male counterparts to task. And we've seen even more women thinking about and running for office. Women, people of color, and members of the LGBTQ community were elected to offices across the country in record numbers last November. And despite 45's endorsement, Alabama's Ray Moore was defeated. That election saw a large turnout from voters, especially Black women. The Me Too movement has finally put the spotlight on sexual assault, harassment, and just bad behavior. And it's time we call out the occupant in the White House for his past actions. In her Golden Globes acceptance speech, Oprah Winfrey talked about a new day on the horizon. A new day finally dawning because of a lot of magnificent women. She was speaking to the women primarily in that room. But I say it is because of the magnificent women, Black, white, brown, of all colors, ethnicities, sexual orientation, and gender identity, as well as a few good men, that we stood together strong to make our community, to fight for what we believe in. So we are going to march on and say to the White House, McConnell, Ryan, and the grand old party of prevaricators, predators, perverts, and phonies, your time is up. And we're not going to keep fighting about 2016. Democrats, we're going to watch you too. And we say, hear our voices. Do your job. Open the doors to all of us and our new ideals and this new wave of women joining your ranks. And finally, because you know I'm cold, so I'm gonna keep it short. And finally, to our dear confused sisters who continue to vote against their own best interests, as my mother would say, we'll always love you. We just don't like you that much right now. And we say to them, if you can't vote for yourself, vote for your daughters. Vote for your granddaughters. Vote for those little girls born each and every day. Little girls like my friend Bella. We're celebrating our 1-year anniversary. Bella, right there. We met here at the march. It's special. If you can't vote for them, for yourself, vote for them, knowing that the decisions you make today will affect them into the future. Wake up, sisters, and stay woke. So I'm going to ask you, Ann Arbor, Whose time is it? Whose time is it? Whose time is it? That's right, this is our time. Now let's go grab them by the midterms and take our power to the polls. Why we march. Show them